They say just do it. I say do it like this. The topic for this set of moments is presence and permission. And the basic idea here is that your presence influences without permission. And this is very, very important to understand to start to regain an awareness of the power you have in this realm. Right? You walk into a room, you change the room. And there's nothing anybody can do about it unless they take you out of the room, right? And that's a separate topic, but we're not going to talk about that at this point. Just talk about normal, basically safe interactions where your presence is presented, right? It influences without permission. And that's part of how this realm works. And so this notion of the need to have permission in order to influence someone doesn't reflect how reality works. Your energy comes out of your body, and that's it. There's no permission required. If someone is in your presence, you are influencing them. Just as when you are in someone else's presence, they are influencing you, and there's nothing you can do about it as long as you're in their presence. Now, what I mean is there's nothing you can do about the fact that they are sending out energies that influence you. This doesn't mean that you don't have a capacity to respond to that energy. That's not what I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about the initialization thereof, right? No permission is required. Okay, so this notion about permission and authority regarding influence and trying, moving someone in a direction, right? It's simply not like you have been taught. And I want you to, again, go out, verify, see what I'm talking about. It's just the way it is. And when you start to move this way, and when it starts to impact how you think about yourself and your power, you start to realize more and more about how messed up some of the things you have been taught are. So, I don't know. For example, they would say, "Oh, it's controlling somebody is bad," right? And then you'll say, "Oh, I know." And you say, "Well, what do you mean by control?" And then basically, it's like, "Well, you know what I mean, right?" And I'll get into that later too. But we'll just stick with the basic idea of control, right? Well, if your presence influences without permission, and the presence exerts something that somebody has to respond to, well, then now you have, in a sense, controlled them by environmental factors, right? Because you can't not respond to the environment, right? You basically have to, right? Your body will respond to the temperature, whether you like it or not, right? So your body is going to respond to the energy of another person, like it or not. It's very simple. And again, it's the way the realm works. So if you're taught that you need permission to influence somebody, right, or that it's bad to influence somebody without their permission, right, that's abjectly not true. You don't need anybody's permission. All you need to do is show up, and you influence. Period. And now take that and extend that out, and we'll get into that later, right? But this is the foundation, right? Presence programs without permission. Presence influences without permission. Presence doesn't require any permission in order to exert its influence. It does it by itself as the nature of your being here. And I wonder if my lifting my eyes to the left and right is actually this whole left-right brain thing. Well, I'll check that out too. I know it was a little side, but anyway, that's what I want to share in this particular moment. Presence programs, presence influences without permission. You don't need permission. And when you realize in more and more of your life that you don't need someone else's permission, you can start to take the chains that you don't want on you off. They say just do it. I say do it like this.